Hey there, it's Daphne from Blue Quarry, and today I'm going to share with you an easy art journal mandala project. For this project, I start by taping the border of my pages using some washi tape, and then I get out my gouache paint. Now, gouache paint is nothing more than an opaque watercolor. For this project, I'm using a color called Blue Lake, and the gouache is by Reeves. I apply a fairly even coat and then I allow it to dry. Once it's completely dry, you can go ahead and remove the washi tape. And the next step is to create the guidelines. So I start by creating a diagonal line from corner to corner in both directions. That will establish your center point. And then I do a horizontal and a vertical line. And for this project, I then use my ruler and I mark little tick marks every ½ inch from the center out to the edge along that horizontal line. Next, I pull out my compass. I put the point at the center and I adjust it so that the pencil lines up with each of the marks that I made along that line, and I draw a circle through each of those marks. Once all my guidelines are in place, I can then pull out my pen. I am using a uni-ball Signo broadpoint pen here. I love it because it creates a really nice flowing white opaque mark, and it looks really great on dark backgrounds. For this design, I stick with natural organic shapes like petals of flowers and leaves, and I think that lends itself really nicely to mandala design. I am using the straight lines to help me position each leaf or petal. And you'll notice I have divided it into 8, and so I end up with typically 8 of the same leaf pattern going all the way around each one of those rows. The circles sort of dictate the number of layers or rows of petals that I have, but you don't have to follow them exactly. They're just a guide. So you could choose to confine your row of petals to the next circle, or you could skip a circle and make your petals extra long. You could choose to go halfway in between, which I do, I think, in some of these petals on this design. It's really up to you. They're there just as guidelines to help you be consistent from row to row. And that helps to keep everything looking sort of neat and professional, even if your lines are a little wiggly or a little uneven. It really doesn't matter. That sort of adds to the character of the piece, in my opinion. And it's just one of those activities that should be very freeing and very loose and enjoyable. When I'm all done with the basic outline, I decide to go ahead and add a few more embellishments. So I start to fill in some of the spaces in between my original lines with some more detail. Don't get frustrated if you make a mistake. Just keep going. Think of this as a process that you're trying to enjoy. The final piece may or may not turn out the way you expected it to turn out, and that's okay. It's a great way to warm up if you're feeling a little bit blocked, if you want to create something a little bit more intricate, or if you're getting ready to paint a figure or a face or a more detailed scene, but you're just not feeling it. This is a really great way to get in the mood and to get your creative juices flowing. So as a final step, I decided to add one more color. I'm using a metallic bronze gel pen, and my intention was to add a little more interest but to be completely honest, I think it worked better before I added this. The nice thing about working in an art journal, though, is that you can feel free to experiment and play without fear of messing up, because it's not a, quote, real, unquote, piece of art. I like to treat mine as a record book. And after the art activity is complete, I make notes right on the same page or on the same spread about the materials and techniques I used, about my discoveries, things that I liked, things that I didn't like, information like that, so I can learn and grow and develop my own personal style. It's important to find inspiration all around you, whether it's a laced oily or a printed fabric or even a painting by another artist. But in the end, it's all about zeroing in on your own personal style, which, by the way, is very fluid and dynamic. In other words, that will evolve and change just as you do. So when I was happy with everything, I allowed it to dry completely, and then I used my Staedtler plastic eraser very carefully to erase my pencil lines. Here is the completed mandala, and I apologize because I did add a few more details that I didn't record. If you look inside that wiggly circle near toward the center and inside the big leaf pattern on the outermost circle, you'll see some extra lines there. If you like this video, please follow me and leave a comment, and let me know if there are any other mandala themed or really any art videos that you'd like to see in the future. Also, check out my website, bluequarry.com. Thank you so much for watching.